Breaking news this morning as NASCAR Commissioner Steve Phelps resigns. He's done. He will be out of the sport completely by the end of January. Once again, guys, I'm Jake, and this is Maine Motorsports. Let's get into it. So this morning, Steve Phelps made the official announcement that he's not returning to NASCAR in 2026. He's stepping down from his role as commissioner. And I quote, "As a lifelong race fan, it gives me immense pride to have served as NASCAR's first commissioner and to lead our great sport through so many incredible challenges, opportunities, and firsts over my 20 years. Our sport is built on the passion of our fans, the dedication of our teams and partners, and the commitment of our wonderful employees." That came from Steve Phelps earlier this morning. And before I get into why I believe he resigned, I want to talk about some of the positives. Steve Phelps has been in NASCAR since 2005. Most notably in 2018 when he took over as NASCAR's president after the ever so popular Brian France, everybody's favorite, was arrested for driving under the influence. And when they caught him, he was carrying oxycodons on him. So yeah, Steve Phelps stepped up to become NASCAR's new president in 2018. And I feel like until this year, he was relatively respected. Not perfect, but a million times better than Brian France. I want to talk about some really good things that have happened over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years that Steve Phelps had a big say in that I think really helped the sport. The first in which being NASCAR being the first sport back in action after the COVID-19 pandemic. Steve Phelps had a big say in that, and putting NASCAR on TV when no other sports were active was a great choice. Also, the schedule changes to both Cup, Trucks, and Xfinity have all been mightily improved. We've had Rockingham get revived, Bowman Gray, North Wilkesboro. Coda's on the NASCAR schedule now. Chicagoland's coming back. We went to the LA Coliseum, a brand new market. We had Road America for a couple of years. The Charlotte Roval was really popular at first. We just went to Mexico City. The first time ever, I believe, the Cup Series went foreign since they went to Japan back in the mid-90s. Those are all great. The schedule is more diverse than ever because before, like 2017, the schedule has been the same. We have the most diverse schedule ever now, and I'm a huge fan of that. It's a great combination of road courses, speedway, short tracks, compared to how it used to be like 10 years ago, flooded with mile-and-a-half cookie cutters. Another thing I want to give a shout out to Steve Phelps for is he was always pretty active, both in the media and on the racetrack. You would see him show up to a lot of races. He would be involved in Q&A sessions. He would be interacting with fans and the drivers. He was on podcasts. And he didn't shy away from the media. Brian France, for example, was very shy towards the media. And whenever they got a hold of Brian France, he just gave like that response, like, "We like what we're seeing." So I appreciate that from Steve Phelps. And one more thing, depending on how you look at it, he had a big say in the development of the next-gen car. I believe the next-gen car has many ups and many downs. It's not perfect by any means, but the parity we've seen, closer racing overall, everybody having more of an equal shot every single week, I like that. However, the car being a bit more unsafe than previous generations, plus short track and road course racing not being as good. However, this year we're going to get more horsepower at those tracks, so we'll see. Overall, Steve Phelps had some good say when it came down to NASCAR and the decisions they went forward with. However, it kind of all came crashing down due to the lawsuit in which several terrible texts were revealed of Steve Phelps bad-mouthing people that work for the sport, including Richard Childress. During a conversation with higher-ups, I believe it was Steve O'Donnell, he said, and I quote, "Childress needs to be taken out back and fogged. He's a stupid redneck who owes his entire fortune to NASCAR." For some context, This was during the NASCAR charter agreement, in which most teams didn't really want to sign, but they were kind of being forced to sign. So when Childress said he wasn't a big fan of it, he got badmouthed. Pretty bad. Calling him a stupid redneck is not good, considering Richard Childress has done so much for your sport. Also, when it comes to the SRX series, a very good series that I loved watching, and I thought it was great seeing NASCAR drivers take part in these like short track races across the country, using these drivers from all different forms of racing to gather together for like a superstar event. It was literally called the Superstar Racing Experience. But in leaked texts, once again, Steve Phelps stated, "We need to put a knife in this trash series." Remember how NASCAR was just being sued over the fact that they were quote-unquote a monopoly. Steve blatantly saying that this series is trash and wants to end it showcases that he wants to end any other stock car-related series to benefit himself. So NASCAR remains on top. In his eyes, it wasn't friendly competition. Even though the SRX was a great series, in his eyes, it wasn't. Bad-mouthing the people who make your sport work is not a good idea. And again, I think he did a lot of good things for NASCAR, but regardless of what you say during this lawsuit with all these texts coming up, I can't personally respect nor trust a person to run my sport that I love so much if he's going to badmouth people behind their backs, especially the people that allow your sport to exist in the first place. I think he was given the choice to resign on his own terms, because if he got fired or released, it would be a much worse look for NASCAR. It's a shame, because at first when he became president after Brian France, I did respect him. I wasn't a fan of everything he did, but he did a pretty good job, I would say. He made a lot of good decisions. Anyway, what does this mean for NASCAR going forward? I have no idea. From what I've seen on Instagram and like TikTok, the comment sections about this topic are littered with happy reactions. People seem to be very happy with Steve Phelps leaving the sport. I'm kind of mixed on it. Like, yeah, I wasn't a fan of the bad mouthing, but he wasn't the worst we've ever had. He wasn't. But yeah, Steve Phelps is officially gone. As to who will replace him, I have no idea yet. I would love it to be like a Dale Jr. or a Mark Martin. That's a long shot. So, good or bad news, depending on how you look at it. Let's end this video on a higher note. Let's react to some new paint schemes real quick. So first, I want to go over Chase Elliott's new Napa car. Personally, I'm a huge fan of like a fully blue and yellow Napa car, no white, like Michael Waltrip used to race back in the 2000s. But this one is the best Chase Elliott car that has a lot of white on it. The last couple of years, he ran a completely blue and yellow car. But the white looks good on this one. I like the Napa logo in the middle. The yellow stripe across the blue stripe's pretty nice. Give it like a 7 out of 10. It's not crazy. It looks good on the new Chevrolet body. Next, we have Kyle Larson's new Valvoline car. I think better than last year. I like the light blue strip above the dark blue strip. That looks really nice in my opinion. The little can of Valvoline spilling. That's pretty cute. The light blue stripe above the dark blue and that addition of white looks a bit cleaner. And then we have William Byron's Valvoline car. It's all right. I like the dark blue, the red, and the light blue. It clashes well together with the white. But I think last year's, being a predominantly slick shade of blue, I like blue race cars. I think the one last year was better than this year's. It just looks more simple, but in this case, the simpleness makes it better. Get like a 6 out of 10. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. It's definitely not the first video on Steve Phelps, but who do you think will replace him? Comment down below what your opinion is on Steve Phelps leaving. Once again, I'm Jake. You're watching Maine Motorsports, and I hope you have a great day. Peace.